Hey guys, welcome back to Raising the Nuts. I'm actually down here in St. Pete, Florida. Sadly not here for a happy trip. Last week, a friend of mine, Luke, he killed himself, and we're here to celebrate his life. Yesterday we did a celebration of life, and I just talk about mental health a lot on my channel here, and want to take this opportunity to let you guys know if you guys ever need someone to talk to, you can always reach out to me. I actually wrote a post on my blog about Luke, and if you guys want to check that out, I'll link it below. So I actually met Luke through poker. We met almost 12 years ago through Daniel Negoni's Full Contact Poker Forum. I coached Luke playing Heads Up. You can read a little bit more about him in a blog post. We did play a decent amount of poker here in Tampa together. Figure while I'm down here, we'll put in a session here at Derby Lane. Maybe play every hand, maybe not. I'm not sure. We're gonna see when we go in there what the games are like. Alright, planned on doing a mid-session update here outside, but it's thunder and lightning, so I don't think it's good for me to be outside. We are going to do the play every hand challenge. If you guys are not familiar with that, I have to play every hand dealt in unless there's a 3-bet or an all-in in front of me. I can limp into the pot and fold. This is now session number, God, what number session? Session number 7 or 8 of this. There's a playlist that you can check out to see all the other previous videos. We are up $578 going in the challenge today. The goal is to win $2,000 to donate to charity. I think the goal initially was $2,000 and I would donate half to charity and keep the other half. We'll see what happens when we get to that point. I just thought about this while I was in there. The session's going well so far, and anything that I win in this session, I'm going to immediately donate to a fundraiser for mental health research. That's on Facebook right now. I'll share it in the link below in honor of my friend Luke that passed away. So, and then we'll add it to the challenge as well. So we'll get a little, hopefully a double donation. But into the poker here. So early on, hand comes up. I limp in with King 6 offsuit with the King of Clubs. We go 7 ways of the flop. Flop comes down Queen 10, 6, all clubs. So flop bottom pair with the second nut flush draw. I decided to put out a bet of $5. 2 players call. The turn is the 9 of clubs. So we make the second nut flush on the turn, and a player jams all in for $25 and immediately starts shaking his head at me. And I didn't know what to take of that, and like shaking his head like, please don't call. And I was very confused, so I don't know. I just end up calling, and then the other player folds, and the player immediately turns over a straight flush, and apparently did not want me to call because he was afraid to lose the high hand, which was $500, but I'm not sure what he was afraid to lose to. I don't really know, but he gets my $25 on the turn.
I have a high hand, please, 42.
Yeah, nice high hand.
Plus an additional $500 when his straight flush holds up for the high hand. So next hand comes up, and the same player opens to $25 pre-flop, which is a huge raise in this game, and it gets to me. And now, no matter what my hand is, I have to call, unfortunately. And I look down at 7 deuce suited. So I gotta call the 25, so I make the call, and we go heads up to the flop. The flop comes down 8-7-3 with 2 diamonds. I have 7 deuce of diamonds, and the man jams all in for $158. It's pretty obvious that he has aces, I would guess. And I'm just in the mood to gamble, so I go ahead and make the call. I tell him, I hope you're not gonna be mad at me. We peel off the King of Diamonds right on the turn as he turns over black aces. So he's drawing dead on the turn, blank river, and we double up with the 7 deuce versus aces. Next hand here, there's a raise to $7. I call with King 10 offsuit, and there's a couple of other calls. We take it 5 ways to the flop. Flop comes down 10-10 deuce, so flop and trips here, 10-10 deuce, 2 hearts. Pre-flop laser goes ahead and bets $11. I make the call, everyone else fold. The turn's an offsuit 4. He checks, I bet $25, and he makes the call. The river's an offsuit deuce, so we make a full house here on the river. I think we're probably gonna be ahead of him anyway before that. And he checks, and I decide to bet $65, thinking probably going to get a call here a lot of the time. And he thinks for a really, really long time. But ultimately decides on a call, and I turn it over, and we're good. So that's where we're at here in the halfway point on the Jim and Burton style mid-session update. Probably going to go and play for about another hour or so. I am keeping track of all the hands like I have been, and so those will be posted in the link to my blog below. So let's go back in there, hopefully win some more money for charity, and we'll check back in at the end of the session. Okay, so back here after the session, after the mid-session update, nothing happened. There was nothing interesting at all. I ended up playing for about another half hour to an hour or so. I can't even remember how long it was, but was getting a little tired of playing every hand, as it gets a little exhausting, you know, writing down every hand and trying to film and play every hand. So ended up playing about 2 hours, winning $117 for the session. So like I said, I'm going to donate that $117 to a fundraiser that we're doing in honor of my buddy Luke. After that, decided I would hop into a 1-3 no limit game that a friend of mine was playing in to just hang out for a little bit, and had a couple of interesting hands come up in that. So first hand, I had actually folded for a long time in this session, pretty card dead, and then a spot comes up where a couple of limpers and I complete in the small blind with pocket fours. The big blind makes it $26, and there are 2 calls, and it gets back to me. I decide to call as well. And we get the dream flop, ace, king, 4, 2 spades. I check, the pre-flop raiser bets $30, and both players in between us call. I think I have to go for the check raise here with that much action in front of me, and stack size is only being about $500, so can easily get it in against a bunch of people there, so and you know, protect my hand. So I go ahead and make it $240. The pre-flop raiser fold. Player in between jams for $450. The next player thinks for a little bit and folds. I obviously make the call. The turn is a 5 and the river is a 4, so I make quads. And there was a high hand promotion going on once again, and my hand once again qualified for the high hand. Obviously just running unbelievable in these spots, but about 20 seconds after my hand was announced, pocket fives made quad 5, so that was taken off the board. I was not eligible for the $500 anymore, but I do win this big pot, so that's good. I held against ace 3. The player in the mid position had ace 3, so he actually did turn some outs with the gut shot, but we were able to fade and make quads. The very next hand, I straddle the button. There's one call, player in middle position limps, and I look down at pocket aces. I make it $35 to go. The player in the small blind was not folding many hands. He makes the call, and then the player who I just stacked in the previous hand, who had limped in middle position, jams for $117. Gets back to me, I think, for a little bit, and decided to make it $250. Player in between us folds 3-5 offsuit face up. I'm up against an unknown hand which holds, but the 3-5 would have made 2 pair, and this guy was playing every hand, much like I was in the previous part of this video. I would have lost a pretty big pot to him had he chose to continue, but he folded, and I stacked the other player in middle position who decides to go home after that. So I ended up just playing, like I said, for a couple hours in this game with a friend. The game actually broke. I ended up winning $400 in this game, and then calling it a night. Obviously, I did not want to be down in Tampa for the reason that I was here in the St. Pete area. I do come down here pretty frequently, and this is actually, I think, the first time I had anything in this vlog from these card rooms. So good to be with some friends, and in this kind of tough time, to be with this group of friends that I've been with through some great times, and to lean on your friends in a tough time is really important. I do want to give a shout out here. While I was doing the Play Every Hand Challenge, a guy came over to me and whispered in my ear, I know you're playing every hand, I won't let them know. And that made me laugh. And after the session, I walked over to him and introduced myself. His name is Randall, so shout out to you, Randall. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming up and saying hi. Heading home tomorrow, Monday, and then we're off to Vegas on Wednesday for the main event. If you do see me out in Vegas, please feel free to say hello. Hopefully we'll be joining in some meetup games with Brad and Andrew while we're out there. I will also, I think, be at the Poker News podcast event. I believe that's on July 8th. This lighting is terrible. The one other thing that we have to get into was the results from the last video's hand with the ace, ace, ace 5 in the PLO game. There was tons of feedback. A lot of people were really on the camp of folding on the flop. A lot of people were against 4-betting pre-flop. There was a lot of different feedback. So thank you guys for all that feedback. I will say that my 9-handed live PLO experience is very small. I play a lot of PLO online, 6-max, heads up, short-handed games and things like that. So definitely a lot of different situations that can come up in a live game from an online game. I want to just tell you guys the results of the hand. I got tons of feedback from other good players as well who said that it's a call based on the fact that I'm getting such a great price and his range is going to be pretty wide. Other people think it's a snap fold. I'm still going through a bunch of different things, and maybe I'll come back and give a bigger detailed analysis in the comment section on what I find. For results of the actual hand and what happened, I did fold. The player who shoved the $3,000 showed 10, 8, 8, 7 for a pair of 8s and also a pair of 7s and a gut shot. So we are obviously ahead of his hand if we decided to call. Obviously that doesn't really matter. We're looking at his whole range, but we were ahead of his hand. But then the board actually ran out. The turn was a 7 and the river was a blank. So his hand ended up winning and would have ended up beating our hand also if we had decided to call. But again, thanks for all the feedback. I enjoy this segment of seeing what you guys say in the comments. So thank you guys as always for watching, and I really do mean it with the mental health stuff that I talked about earlier in the video. Please check out my blog post, and you can always reach out to me on Instagram at TreyMomi, on Twitter at TreyMomi, or at raisingthenuts@gmail.com if you want to talk about anything. So thank you guys as always for watching. Appreciate your comments, and please click the thumbs up button if you haven't done already, and subscribe if you haven't done already. And I will talk to you guys very soon.